皆さん、こんにちは。トークアイの佐野です。トークアイニュー MR 合同セミナーは、今回が2回目となります。まず最初に、本セミナーの目的を3つお伝えしたいと思います。1つ目は、仕事でマーケティングリサーチに携わる方々に学びの機会を提供することです。技術の進歩、社会変化が激しい環境では、我々は常に学び続ける必要があります。業務の都合で集合形式のセミナーに参加できない方にも、気軽に参加していただけるように、オンライン形式にしております。2つ目は、英語で学ぶ機会を、場所を提供したいということです。マーケティングリサーチのトレンドは、常に外国からやってくる時代と言っても過言ではありません。好むと好まざるとにかかわらず、英語で学ぶということに抵抗感をなくしていただきたいと思います。できるだけ平易な表現、わかりやすい題材をもとに解説をするように心がけております。最後に、今日のセミナーのテーマですが、ポインター氏が世界各国で行っているデータの中にストーリーを見つけるというセミナーの導入部分として位置づけられるものです。そのため、一部の方にとっては当たり前の内容が含まれるかもしれませんけれども、この一連の講義の前段として捉えていただければ幸いです。以上です。So, over to you, Ray.
Thank you, Sana-san, for the introduction, and welcome everybody. So today we will start with an example. Then I'm going to identify the key learning points from that example. Then we're going to show the same ideas in a second example, and then I will sum up and we can take questions and answers. The focus...
Can I interpret now?
Yes.
今日の進行内容について説明させていただきます。今日のテーマに沿った実例を一つ説明してから、次にポイントの説明、それのポイントを踏まえて別の実例を説明してから、最後にまとめをします。その後 Q&A のセッションもあります。
Thank you. The focus of the presentation is how to make numbers more visual. This will help with the presentations, but the main reason to do it is to help you find the meaning in the data.
Let me interpret. 今日のセミナーのタイトルは、データをわかりやすく見せる方法です。このセミナーによってあなたのプレゼンテーションを改善するということももちろんですけれども、我々の最終的な目的というのは、データの中にある意味合いを見つけるようになるということです。
At the end of the presentation, we will have Q&A. So please be thinking about questions.
最初にも言いましたけれども、プレゼンテーションが終わりましたら Q&A、質疑応答のコーナーを設けておりますので、皆さんのブラウザーの方から、お手数ですが、質問を打ち込んでいただければ、それにできる限り対応したいと思います。Over to you. Let's start.
Thank you. Here is some data showing mobile phones per head of population. The data comes from the ITU. You can download this data, and we have some countries on the left-hand side. But the decimal places obscure the message. It's very hard to see the story in this data. So what I recommend is that we hide the decimal places, making the numbers more visible. Don't delete the decimal places, avoid displaying them. I'm showing you this in Excel, but this is true in your cross-tabulation packages. This is true in your analysis packages. If we hide the decimal places, the numbers are easier to see. Any country where the number is 3 digits long has many phones. If they have 2 digits, like Japan has 96 over here in 2010, then they have not so many phones. And if, like Myanmar in 2010, there is only 1 digit, then they have very few phones. Hiding the decimal places makes them more visible, but we can use color. And in Excel, there is a thing called conditional formatting, and it can reveal patterns. So the countries that are green are big numbers. The cells that are red are small numbers, and the ones that are white are in between. So all of a sudden, it's much easier to see this information. We can make it easier still by sorting the data to reveal patterns. And very, very often in marketing research, you should sort the data, whether it's in a chart, whether it's in your cross tabulations, whether it's in Excel. You want to sort the data to make the patterns more obvious. And here we can see that Hong Kong has got many, many phones per person. We can see that Myanmar is the bottom country, and we can see that there is lots of red on the left-hand side of the page, but the red disappears as we go from 2010 to 2017. So in 2010, there was a mixture of green and red. So there were strong countries like Hong Kong and weak countries like Philippines, China, Myanmar. In 2017, the right-hand side of the page, almost all the countries have more than 100 mobile phones per 100 people. So what this means, of course, is many people have 2 phones, and if we look at Hong Kong, many people must have 3 or more mobile phones. So that's one way to show data. Another good way is to use indexes. So on this page, I have set 2010 as the index year. So in 2010, let's show all the numbers as 100. And then 2011 shows how they changed compared with 2010. And we can look all the way across the page to see how the index numbers work. We can make that information easier by using color coding again. Now we see that the really strong growth is Myanmar. Again, we've used sorting and color coding, and it reveals the pattern. The key change is growth in phones per person. And what is quite interesting, perhaps, for the story, is that some countries have not changed very much. So Australia, Singapore, and Vietnam are almost the same number of phones per head of population in 2017 that they were in 2010. So this is quite an interesting pattern. And then at the other end of the table, we see that Cambodia, which used to have only 57 phones per person, per 100 persons, has now got an index of 204. It's doubled the number of phones. Charts are clearer. People often say, should we show charts? People want to see charts instead of tables. But charts show less data, so we make a trade-off when we show charts. We still want to sort the information. So this chart shows the data for 1 year, 2017. We have sorted it by highest to lowest, and we can see the information we saw before. Hong Kong is at the top, and we can see that Hong Kong is very different from Thailand and Indonesia. And at the bottom, we can see Myanmar, which is almost the same as China and Philippines. So charts show more data. Sorry, charts show the information more clearly, but they show less data. So let's summarize that. The key steps. 1, Please hide unnecessary decimal places. Don't delete them, hide them. Use color coding to make the information easier to see. Sort the data to make the information easier to see. These three things you should do every time. Sometimes you are going to want to use indexes to make the information stand out. Sometimes you're going to say, I'm going to use charts because they are clearer, even though they show less information. So these are the 5 key basic steps. In later webinars, we will look at more advanced steps. So let's take another example, looking at something more like market research data. Market research data often show decimal places, and this hides the information. The data are often in questionnaire order, and usually that is not helpful. So here, the attributes, beautiful, cheap, friendly, sexy, strong, traditional, are in alphabetical order. They've not been sorted to something useful for market research understanding. So the first thing we will do is we will hide the decimal places, and we will move the percent sign into the heading. So we've reduced the clutter. We've made it easier to read. We can very quickly see that cheap and friendly are big numbers, and we can see that beautiful is a small number. Then we can use color coding, and now it really stands out. Now we are confident that 71 is the biggest number, because before that we thought maybe 71 was, but we'd have to be careful. But with the color coding, now we're really sure that 71 is the biggest number, 21 is the smallest number, that 42 is neutral. It shows us where the top and the bottom is and the numbers that are neutral. So the next thing we're going to do is sort them. Sorting the data makes the story clear. Now we know what the story is. Brand 1 is friendly and it's cheap, but it's not traditional and beautiful. The story is not that it's 71 and 63. The story is that it's friendly and cheap. The story is not about 32 and 21 for traditional beautiful. The story is it's not traditional, it's not beautiful. Now, as I said before, some people like charts, and the same rules apply about percentages and sorting. You should almost never, in market research data, show percentage as decimal places. It's not helpful for the interpretation, and it's not accurate. So here's what it's like if we move the percentage sign, we hide the decimal places, and we sort the information. And we can see that brand 1 is cheap and friendly, and that it's not beautiful and traditional. But of course, often in market research data, we don't just have one brand, we have many brands. So how would we treat a matrix of information like this, where we have 7 brands and we've got 6 attributes? And maybe another time we would have 20 brands and 20 attributes. The same processes apply. What we're going to do is hide the decimal places and move the percentage sign. We're going to use color coding, and we have sorted the data, but this time we've sorted the data in terms of rows and in terms of columns, and this is called diagonalization. This tells us very quickly the simple story. There are 2 groups of brands in this study. One group, brands 4, 2, 5, and 3, are sexy and beautiful. The second group of brands, 6, 7, and 1, are friendly and cheap. And we've not used any advanced analytics, no segmentation, no cluster analysis, no regression, no correlation. All we've done is use color coding and sorting, and the data stands out and we can see those patterns. That's what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to see the information. Our brain is more powerful than a computer algorithm. So just to review those points, hide unnecessary decimal places. Don't delete them, hide them. Use color coding to help the information stand out. Sort the data, and the two-dimensional is called diagonalization. And remember that charts are clearer, but they show less information. So you decide when to use charts and when to use tables. Arigatou gozaimashita. I look forward to your questions. Please follow me on social media.
Thank you, Ray. これから、質問を受け付けたいと思います。質問 Q&A かな。Q&A の方にクリックしていただいて、そこに質問を、ポストしていただければと思います。他の人がもし答えている間に、でも構わないので、どうぞ質問を打ち込んでください。Can you read the question from Sigi Kishikawa?
I can't see the questions panel because of the way I share my screen.
Okay. So his question is that we often use a cross-tab data in marketing research. Could you please provide any tip of how to show the data effectively?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the question. Do you want to repeat the question in Japanese first?
Yes. 我々、マーケティングリサーチャーは、クロスタブ形式のデータをよく、使いますけれども、そういったデータを、効果的に見せるためには、どのようにしたらいいでしょうかという質問です。Okay.
Okay, so the three things that I would recommend. The first is to hide the decimal places in the cross-tabulation package. Normally, the package will have an option which will let you show the numbers in a straightforward way.
Let me interrupt. 小数ってさっき言ったように小数点以下のデータを消すというか隠すようにまずしてほしいと思います。そうパッケージによってはそういった機能がついているものがあります。Okay.
The second thing is to sort the data. So you will normally, sometimes there is a natural order. So very good, good, neutral, not good, very much not good. You don't change the order for that. But for most things, you will want to get your cross-tabulation package to sort the data from largest to smallest so that you can see the patterns.
ですね、クロスタブ形式のものの場合、うまい具合に並んでいるものもありますけども、そうでないものもありますので、高順、大きいものから小さい順に並べ替えをしてもらいたいと思います。Okay.
And thirdly, I would always ask the cross-tabulation package to show every table in percentages only. I might also have a table that shows me the counts. But if we have counts and percentages in the same table, it's very hard to see the information. So have one version of the table, which is percentages only, so that you can see the patterns more easily.
クロスタブの、ソフトウェアの中には、大抵の場合、 パーセンテージの表示と、票数ですね、カウントの表示が同居しているということがあるんですけども、この標識は大変見にくいので、できればパーセントオンリーの表にした方が見やすくなるというふうに思います。Okay.
And the final one we will cover in another webinar is to use things called nets. So if you have agree strongly, agree, neither agree nor disagree, disagree, disagree strongly, have another row of information which is net agree, which is the percentage who agree strongly or agree, and another row which is net disagree, which is the combination of people who disagree or disagree strongly. Because if you've only got two lines of data, net agree, net disagree, it's much easier to see the patterns.
Okay. Right. It is a little bit difficult to translate it right now. So let me summarize it and respond it to his question later on. Maybe
yes.
recording.
Yeah, we are going to cover this in another webinar.
Yep. Hi. Then I have another situation from Mr. Takahashi. His question is that what situation is the index data table useful, do you think?
Oh, anything over time, when you're trying to look at 1 year versus another year, then showing index is very strong. So the financial markets, the Nikkei and so on, always show data as indexes, because when things start in a different place and you want to know which is doing best, then an index is clear. If you want to know which region is doing best, then indexes help. If you want to know which brand has improved the most over the last 5 years, then an index is best. So index is almost always used when we're looking at data over time.
時系列で比較するようなデータを見る場合には、インデックス形式というのは非常に強力な表示形式になるというふうに考えています。例えば日経指数のように、ある銘柄のパフォーマンスというのを、時を追って比較するというような場合には、大抵の場合、指数形式で示されているというふうに思いますし、あるいはあるブランドの商品がどれぐらい売れたかというようなことを比較する、時系列で比較するときにも、インデックス形式というのは非常に強い、強力なツールになるというふうに考えます。はい、他に質問はありますでしょうか。はい、nowは実は、事前にですね、質問をいただいております。Ray, can you answer to the Tomoko's questions right now?
If you could remind me.
Yeah, okay. Let me see. Okay. How do we choose the numeric matrix or a chart depending on topics and the context? Which is better in what case? What kind of chart should be used depending on cases? Tell us a good example and bad examples. This is the first question.
Do you want to repeat the question in Japanese?
Yes. トピックスや、コンテクストによって、数表またはチャートどちらがおすすめでしょうか。またチャートの中で同じくトピックスやコンテクストの中によってこういう種類のチャートがおすすめ、逆にこういうトピックスの時にはこういうチャートを使ってはいけないなどといったサジェッションがあれば教えてください。Okay?
Okay, so we have two very separate cases. When you're trying to find the story in the data for yourself, and when you're trying to show the story in the data. and I will give a separate answer for each of them.
Let me interrupt. データの中に、データをいかに見せるかということと、データの中にどういった意味合いを見つけるかということによって、かなりこの場合の選択というのは異なってくると思います。Yes.
So when we are trying to find the data, it depends what sort of person you are. If you are a numbers and a functions sort of person, you will use tables. If you are a more visual person, then you will use charts. So that is the first split when you're looking for the data for yourself.
Okay, let me confirm. What is the first type? What is the second type?
Okay. So when we're looking for the data is the first situation, and when we're presenting the data is the second situation. So in the first situation, Tomoko-san, how do you see data? And that is how you will use your analysis. Then Ray, how do I see data? And that is how I will use the analysis. So there's no single best way to do the analysis. It depends on what helps you see the information.
もののデータの見方によってですね、これはどちらがいいということが一口では言えないのであって、まあそのどういうことを目的とするかによって、その立場というか選択肢は異なってくるということです。はい。Yes.
But whether you're using tables or charts, you need the method of producing them to be very fast, and you need to be able to be a lazy researcher to find this information. So we're not going to copy the data to another program to create an image to see if it tells us the story. It's too slow. We want to be able to use tools that are interactive with the data to produce the charts, or we want to use tools which are interactive with the data to produce the tables.
すみません。ここで、let me summarize this later on, and I will respond it in
Okay.
another way. Yeah.
But
So, okay, go ahead.
When we are presenting to clients, we are trying to use the method that works for that client. So you need to do some ethnographic research with your client. Do they like charts? Do they like two-dimensional charts? Do they like color? Do they like tables? Are they colorblind? All of these sorts of questions will help you tell what is the best way to show the data that you've found. And since we'll be summarizing this data, we'll do it quickly now. And it doesn't matter if these charts are quite hard to produce. So when you are looking for the data, the charts have to be very easy and quick to produce, and they have to be linked to the data. But when you make the presentation, you can afford the time to make graphics that are prettier, that are using better tools, but which take more time.
Okay, thank you. So this may be your last question. Second question from Tomoko. We sometimes have a chance to see an art chart on TV programs. It seems that sometimes an information sender has an intention of cheating audiences. Tell us, never do when using chart. Let me translate it in. ですね、テレビやウェブサイトなどで、奇妙なチャートとか、意図的に誤解を誘うようなチャートを見ることがあります。データを伝える側が絶対にやってはいけない、間違ったチャートの書き方というのがあるのであれば、それについて教えてください。OK.
The main rule is that it should always be honest. So the chart should tell the same story as the data tells. And do you want to translate that first?
まあ、最初に言えることは、常に我々は、謙虚に真実を伝えるように努力しなければいけないということであります。これはまあ、リサーチャーとして当たり前の姿勢だと思います。Okay.
So if we show something over time, we must make sure we pick a fair time distribution. For example, a couple of weeks ago, Nike did an ad in the United States, and this was, for some people, a very shocking ad. And many people showed the share price and showed that in one day, the share price had fallen by 1%. This was not a very good data picture, because if you looked at the data over 5 days, the share price had not moved. If you looked at the share price over 1 month, the share had gone up. But by picking a particular day, then you can make the data look wrong.
例えばですね、ナイキが、アメリカで非常にショッキングな TV の、コマーシャルを、広告を流したときに、ある日において、ナイキのシェアがものすごく高くなるというようなことがあるわけですけれども、もう少し長い目で見た場合に、は、まあ、そのシェアっていうのはあまり変わってないというようなこともあるわけです。そういった場合に、特定の日だけを取り上げて、何かシェアが上がっているとか下がっているとか、そういったことを、見せるというようなことは、あまり好ましい姿勢だとは言えないと思います。ちょっと私これ自信ないので、後でまた、サマライズします。Okay, let me summarize this later on as well.
Please.
Yeah, go ahead. Is that all?
Another example would be where you do something that is visually distorting. So sometimes people will show a picture of the United States colored in red and blue to show how much of the country votes Republican and how much of the country votes Democrat. This is a very dishonest chart because in many of the states, almost nobody lives there. So it doesn't show anything about how much of the country votes one way or the other. It shows how much of the empty space votes one way or the other. So whenever they do that, it's a deliberately distorting picture.
Okay. 例えばアメリカの地図をですね、赤と青に塗り分けて、一つが、民主党の共和党の支持している州であると、もう一個は、民主党が支持している支持者が多いような、多い州であるというふうに2色に塗り分けるというような、図というのがよく使われるわけですけれども、必ずしもその州全体にですねが、その人が住んでいるわけでもないので、支持者の分布というのを、正確に表しているわけではないという意味で、面積を持って何かそれが支持がでかいとか低いとか小さいとかいうことを言うのは、やはりこれは正しい、物事を正しく示していないというふうに考えられます。Okay.
And I think that's it for the moment. Sam, I think that covers that.
Not no new question is coming up, so let's finish. Let's end the session right now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. ありがとうございました。またレコーディング、記録した、画像のURL については後ほど、送らせていただきます。ご参加ご清聴ありがとうございました。これで終わります。